Boiling blood erupts from volcanoes carrying a deadly infection. In this episode, you will learn how to world build diseases, how society would react to said diseases, and maybe walk away with a laugh or two. This is World Explorers, a world building podcast.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the World Explorer podcast. This is the podcast where me, Casey, is joined by Isaac. Say hi.
Blood!
Or that. And together, we take a prompt, some random idea, and we build an entire world based around it, or a town or something. We world build around it. And yeah, without further ado, we should probably just jump right in with our today's prompt.
Okay, so the other day, I was driving down the road, like you do, and I looked up at the sky. The sky was a sunset type of sky. And the clouds were very, very red, all over, and I thought to myself, that looks like a volcano filled with blood spewed up into the sky and then tinted the sky with blood. And so that's what we're world building today, is a blood volcano, blood sky.
Okay, one question, two. Well, the first is, what, you okay driving? Like, you're not just getting lost in the sky and then crashing into something? And two, are you just okay mentally? Do I need to call someone? Are you alright?
No, I'm not alright.
Okay, alright, I'll call someone after the podcast. So, blood sky and volcano.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not necessarily blood, but I had the idea of like a volcano spewing up into the sky, and then
I think the idea of blood is interesting. And I'm willing to go dark.
Blood.
Let's go dark. Let's make this our PG-14 episode.
Now we gotta ask the question, where does this blood come from?
That was exactly what I was gonna ask, is what beasts... Oh, wait, okay, Isaac.
Yes.
There is a very easy solution for having a volcano spew blood.
I have two solutions.
Okay,
They're very easy.
Well, the solution I came up with is that the volcano is a living entity.
Oh, that's close to what I...
Oh, yeah, what were yours? We might as well see all the options.
The Earth itself is a living entity, and the volcano is just part of the Earth and spewing blood. And the other option was that there is an actual creature living within the Earth, and rather than like the core being made of magma and it's spewing lava, the core has a creature in it and it's bleeding out, and it's coming from the Earth.
I know. I like option 1 and 2 because it seems more sustainable.
Yeah.
Than a creature.
Okay. So either the volcano is alive and it's just constantly spewing blood, or the Earth is alive and volcanoes are basically pimples.
Yeah, you know what? That was the thought I'm like, if volcanoes are spewing blood and the Earth is alive, what is a volcano? And it could just be like the Vikings' idea of Earth.
What's the Vikings idea?
Or Norse, I guess I should say. So their whole idea is that Earth was created by Odin, Loki, and the third brother everyone forgets. And they killed a giant, and they made Earth the body. And like his blood is the rivers and stuff, and the clouds are his brains. So the funny part about the Norse idea of the world is that every time it rains, it is raining blood from brains.
Wow.
I loved it. I read that and I'm
hilarious.
Like, yes. Like, it's somewhat... No, I'm shocked. I'm, like, sitting there like, this is epic. And then it clicked. It's like, wait, someone actually believed this was true. Like, they would have died saying that this was true. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So, we could go...
Let's play rain.
Yeah. So, we drink blood is the Norse mythology, which is incredible. But off topic.
Okay, so I think I like the idea of the volcanoes being alive better.
Yeah, let's keep it small. I feel like the Earth being alive is a video in itself. So, add it to the list.
That could totally be its own.
That's one in itself, but let's talk about living volcanoes, because that sounds fun. So,
Alright, so
would it just spew blood, or would it spew other things? And does that mean when a volcano erupts, it's sick? And it's more like it vomits than it...
maybe I'm gonna like be drawing some parallels between like this fictional volcano and how real world volcanoes work. Like a real world volcano, when it spews, there could be many different reasons, but one of the is simplified, dumbed down reason I can give you is plates under Earth go clash, and then things go boom, and pressure builds up, and stuff spews.
Yeah, I remember 5th grade science.
Simplified version of what happens.
Yeah.
And so maybe it could be sick. I don't know. Can a volcano get sick? Is it like an illness? How do you get a volcano sick?
I mean, it could be like, I know I have this issue and a lot of people where they have like digestive issues that just make them sick more often with the stomach. And maybe volcanoes just get upset stomachs a lot, and their way of fixing that is to explode.
Maybe what's happening is people worship these volcanoes, like their volcanoes are like deities, so they go and they put sacrifices into the volcano, and then somebody gave them some really spicy food.
The volcano is made out of lava. I don't think you could get food that's spicier than that.
That's true. Okay, so...
Or actually, wait, no, we're changing it. The lava is now blood. Like, we've established that. That's the
right.
Big point. The main point of this episode.
So someone threw in some spicy food, and the volcano couldn't keep it down.
Yeah, something like that.
So I maybe not the spicy food thing, but I thought the rest of what I said, people seeing the volcanoes as deities, might be good world building, but not the spicy food thing. Just scrap that.
Okay, I want to pause on like the whole him being alive and stuff, and actually just talk about what it would be like for a person just minding their own business, and then suddenly blood comes spewing out of your deity and covering everything. So I don't think it'd be as deadly as our volcanoes, but my goodness, would all your clothes be ruined? And the smell.
Is the blood disease?
I don't know. Would a volcano have diseased blood? Is that... We really want to go that dark?
I mean, why not? We're going as dark as tinting the sky red with blood, and so why not?
Oh, okay.
Diseased blood.
So disease.
It goes everywhere. Like this wouldn't be as dangerous as like lava, because lava, you touch it, you're dead.
But if it's a disease and it makes you horribly sick, it sounds like it could be infinitely worse, because sickness is spread, and it's a more painful and slow death, or even if you survive, there's some awful side effects. I don't know, it seems worse.
Okay, so what kind of disease is this? What kind of disease would you get from a blood volcano?
Well, considering we seem to be leaning towards the volcano spews when its stomach is upset, something tells me upset stomach will be a side effect. Or effect. I guess it's not a side effect, it's just the effect. What? I feel like it should be related to what happens to the volcano, because that's the reason the volcano spewed. So it's a sickness that affects both volcanoes and people. It's a shared sickness, kind of like rabies.
Okay. So what would we call it? Would we call it ash?
Shititis?
Blood?
I don't know. Is that what it does? It just makes you throw up blood. Like, that's what you start doing.
Boiling blood disease, boiling blood virus.
Isaac, we're not name makers. I have no clue what I would call it.
We are so bad at the name making.
Yes, it's not great.
Okay, so the disease, we could just call it the boiling blood.
For now, yeah. Someone else
guess.
could come up with a better name. Yeah, so the boiling blood disease, is that what I think what it would do is it would cause you to throw up blood.
Yeah, probably
And then,
hot blood.
yeah, okay, so you have a fever, so it'll give you a horrible fever. You'll start throwing up your own blood, and eventually that'll kill you, because, you lose all your blood and pass out. I guess, or maybe it just leads you to pass out.
Blood starts leaking through the eyes.
No. I'm drawing a line. That's too far. It's too far.
There are real diseases that do that.
I didn't need to know that. Didn't want to know that. Okay. As it is, I'm uncomfortable developing diseases. I hate fictional diseases. It's one of my least things to write and read about. Okay?
Okay, wow. I thought that you were supposed to be the horror one out of us. And, I was...
Look, if you want me to create a psychopath, sure, I will go full out and I'll make them realistic and relatable and terrify you with them. Diseases, not so much, because I don't like writing or reading or watching anything related to them. It's just a personal preference, okay?
Okay, so they're throwing up blood. Is the blood boiling?
I mean...
Or is it just called the boiling blood?
I think it's called the boiling blood because it burns as it rains down. Like, it's hot when it comes down.
Yeah, maybe that's how it, infects people. It's like when it hits the skin, it boils and burns through the skin and infects the person.
Yeah, and I think the only way it can spread is blood to blood. So people can stop it, pretty fast. It's not gonna kill the world type thing. It has to spread from blood to blood. So, volcano blood to person blood.
So this is not an easily transmissible disease.
Yeah, I mean, a volcano lava isn't it stops and then you're done. So I feel like a disease related to the volcano should be it stops and it's done.
Yeah, and I mean, from person to person, I don't think that would really happen much, if at all.
I could see it happening occasionally, but this is also a disease which eventually, I guess, in our modern day age, we could even save people because we have, blood transfusions and stuff, and a good blood transfusion could probably just be all a person would need to be cured. I don't know how medicine works.
You drain all the boiling blood disease from the person by draining all of their blood and inject them with new blood, because that wouldn't kill them instantly.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel I'm assuming because the volcano itself eventually it's fine again, and it settles down and it's good. So I'm assuming that if at some point I guess it burns itself out, the sickness.
Yeah, I think that maybe what it's doing is it's spewing out the sickness.
Yeah.
That's its sort of reaction.
That's what happens when you throw up. Yeah.
Something bad. Yeah.
Yeah, when you throw up, it's your body
force it out.
Getting. Yep, exactly. So I think there's a small survival rate, and then with even our modern medicine, that would be heightened. So eventually, it'd just be very. I mean, it's still bad. It's still awful. You're still incapacitated for the next couple months, I guess it doesn't take you that long to, regain. You make blood really fast. Surprisingly fast. That's why you could do, blood drives and stuff, because our body is awesome when you lose a lot of blood, it replenishes itself.
I don't know how long this would last.
I don't either.
Assuming you survive.
Yeah, because you have to survive a horrible fever, constant throwing up, and loss of most of your blood.
Yeah, which I don't see that being an easy thing to survive.
Yeah, but I can see people having done it.
Yeah.
A rare few.
Yeah, I mean, once you get blood transfusion, then you don't have to worry about the blood loss part.
Yeah,
you gotta handle the fever part.
Yeah, it's the fever that'll kill you.
And even then, these fevers would run a little bit higher than normal fevers.
Yeah, but even then we have medicine and stuff to help combat that too. It'd be a long journey. You wouldn't guarantee survive, but modern day, your chances would be greater than when the first volcano eruption occurred upon the humans, and anyone who got it pretty much died.
Yeah, in modern day, I think that there's actually a fairly high chance of
Survival, yeah.
survival
But
because of all the technology we have that would be able to combat a virus like this.
yep,
But that's assuming you can get to the hospital.
in time. Yeah, how fast does this start?
How
I guess.
fast does this kill you?
Well, how fast? Yeah, I was about to say.
How fast do you start losing blood?
How fast do you start getting? Yeah, how far? Well, okay. In reference to like different poisons, because this is kind of what it's like. I feel like the speed would be of a poison. A lot of poisons can kill you in like 30 minutes. It takes some time. Like nothing's instant. So I feel like you start feeling the effects within the hour.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Like you just start feeling the effects in the hour. Like maybe you have it, but you're not showing symptoms for the first hour or so.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it hits you.
Yeah, but I mean, you're gonna know if you've got it. You'll have a giant burn somewhere on you.
Yeah, it'll hurt.
Yeah, you'll know if you have it. So that at least gives you some time to get to the hospital.
Yep. And people aren't going to be terribly worried about like it being contagious, because it does have to be blood to blood.
Yeah.
Which can still be pretty easy. I mean, if you have a cut and you get it in that cut and you don't even realize you have a cut, but you've been helping someone who's sick, you'll get it.
Yeah, if you have like an open cut, well, if they're spewing, well, how about this? If they're spewing blood, is their blood? No, because it's not actually boiling, so it wouldn't be able to sear through. Never mind.
No, it wouldn't. Their blood wouldn't sear through.
Yeah.
But if their blood got into like a cut or in your mouth or something, then you'd get it.
Okay, so we never really established what triggers the volcano to erupt in the first place, other than spicy food.
Which is a joke, and we're not taking it seriously.
Yeah.
I don't know. We've kind of we need to develop the volcanoes just in general. We've got the disease, we've got the scary thing, so we're assuming. Okay, so the volcanoes probably don't move. They're stationary creatures.
Yeah.
What makes us so sure they're alive? Like, what sets them apart from other volcanoes, other than that they cause this horrible sickness?
I was thinking all volcanoes were like this, but I guess not.
No, I meant like our volcanoes, like real world volcanoes versus this world volcano. What's the thing that sets them apart?
Well, volcanoes in our world get their lava from underneath the Earth's crust in the center of the Earth, but this volcano, if it's a living organism,
It has to make it itself.
it would only go, yeah, it'd have to make it itself, and it would only go so far down underground. So you could actually tunnel under these volcanoes, theoretically, and not find any blood.
Yeah. It's contained. It's a self-contained organism. So does that mean it has So let's go inside the volcano for a bit. Let's go in there, and what do we see? Do we see this thing full of like blood vessels and stuff that's just churning out a bunch of blood?
I think so. I think that it probably would be underneath all the dirt and rock on the outer layer and the basalt, however you pronounce
Fun fact,
that.
that's its skin.
Yeah.
That's its skin now. Or is its skin actually under that, and it's created a shell for itself out of the rocks?
I think so. I think that maybe very slowly. It cannot move from its location, really quickly. It can't get up and walk, but maybe it can very slowly pull dirt and rocks and stuff up the hill and up itself, and just sort of fuse it with its body to create a protective shell.
So it's like a very slow snail.
Yeah. And so over years and years, it'll create really thick protection.
So I guess that's how you can tell the age of it. It's like a tree. How many layers it has is how old it is.
Yeah, and also if you can find trees on this volcano, that also helps tell you how old it is.
That's true.
But if it were to erupt, does it covers itself in all of the blood? What happens to does it like scab over? when it all dries.
I mean, that's what lava does.
Yeah, lava turns into, like, actually, it gets into obsidian, but you're looking at blood, so does it turn into a scab? Like,
Yeah,
it's just weird.
I mean, so when a volcano does that, what it ends up doing is it turns itself, which over time then turns into like a really good soil, like a really rich soil. I don't think we get that with these volcanoes. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure. Like I said, you have what happens when it erupts is you get this boiling blood thing that once it stops. It's how long is the contagious blood? Like, is the blood forever contagious? I'm assuming not, or else then you couldn't really be cured by it.
I'd say no.
Yeah, so eventually it dies out in the open. So after you wait the allotted time for the scary disease to die. People do have to go out and they have to just scrub blood off everything.
Yeah, but something else that I was thinking about was you were talking in the beginning about the clouds being filled with this blood. Like maybe something gets so hot it evaporates and it tints the sky red and the clouds red. Can it start raining boiling blood after that?
Okay, it wouldn't be boiling.
The eruption is over.
I don't think it'd be boiling because that's not, because the way that clouds work is that it's frozen water. Like it's so cold that it starts crystallizing and turning into clouds. So the idea of it raining boiling water is just not plausible, because then you don't get red clouds.
Okay, so maybe it's just raining normal blood that's diseased, and so you still wouldn't want to be standing on this because one, it's blood, and two, if it were to get in your eye or your mouth while you're talking or whatever, you could still get it.
Would you though? Can it survive really cold temperatures? Or does it thrive? Because it seems like a creature that thrives in warmth. This little disease. I feel like we're developing more this little virus creature more so than this volcano, but whatever. This is the interesting thing, guys. This is how the world build diseases. We've
never really just sat down and world built one of these like this before.
I mean, there's a lot of things to figure out, such as what temperature does this disease survive in? Because if it doesn't like cold, then being in the cloud form would kill it. And then you just get annoying blood rain.
Yeah, I mean,
which honestly,
I think that's probably what would happen.
Yeah, because the idea of like this disease being able to like stay in the cold, it doesn't make sense. We've agreed that this does not have a large outside. It needs its host to live. It does not live outside its host for longer than a few minutes. People probably wait a couple hours though, just to be safe. But
yeah, so it needs a host, and maybe it needs to be warm. So it causes the fever to rise within a person extremely high to make sure that it's staying alive.
Yeah.
And if it goes into cloud form, like, it's dead. The disease is dead, so you just get blood rain.
Yeah, okay. Glad that's established. Also, for people who are wondering how this parasite keeps living, I think how this living volcano works is that it always has this parasite. But usually this parasite is so small and it takes some time to reproduce, and volcanoes are massive, that it takes like a couple years for there to be enough of this parasite to really cause a volcano to heat up and want to throw up.
Okay.
So that's how you get time.
Works.
Yeah, that's how you get time entering. Big volcano, little parasite. Takes some time to reproduce. Once it gets to a certain point, the volcano explodes. Sends the parasite out into the world where it quickly dies after killing a bunch of people. And then once the parasite is left in the volcano, starts the process over again.
Yeah, I think that works. Okay. So now we got now let's focus on like these volcanoes a little bit more.
Agreed.
And how people see them, how people treat them, react to them. Are we still going along the see them as a deity route? Because all we really world build with them so far is they are horrifying and nothing else.
Okay, so yeah, we know that they like to make their shell. We know they produce the sickness. I think what we need to do is establish what type of like living organism they're more like. Are they more like a tree in that they don't talk or anything? You could just like feel a heartbeat because they'd have to have a heart to produce blood. So, out of curiosity, would there be like a constant like sound or light thumping coming from the volcanoes?
Yeah, I think I like the idea of hearing a heartbeat within the volcano. Like you go to the top and you hear like this echoing heartbeat traveling up through it. Or maybe you're climbing it and you press your ear up against it.
Also, that would be a good indicator of when the volcano is going to blow. They give like civilians warning is if the heartbeat increases, because you know when you have a fever, your heart rate goes up and stuff, and your blood pressure and things. So they would know because like this calm thumping that you know you don't even think about it because you've been living near this volcano your entire life. So like you don't think about it. All of a sudden you realize, hey, that sounds a little everyone run type thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright, so to have a world built this, how do they see the volcanoes? Are they monsters? Are they deities? Are they friends? Are they animals?
Yeah, that's step one. Is this more like a plant or like an animal?
I think it's somewhere in between, but leaning more toward plant.
That's what I was thinking too. I don't think it talks. I don't think it communicates. I think we're looking at something like a sea anemone, where it just chills.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it is probably somewhere more along those lines.
Okay. That's good. We know that people though know it's living because for one, they can actively see it creating a shell for itself. It has the heartbeat and it spews blooming blood everywhere, so it's got to be something alive. Also, if you look down the volcano, you can see the veins and like tunnels. They look like tunnels because they're so big. Veins constantly producing the blood and connected to that central heart. Would people try to kill him, the volcano, in like hopes of stopping the disease?
I think that maybe there would be some people who try, but all fail because when you try to like cut its veins or whatever, try to drain the blood from it, you get blood all over you and you die.
True. You couldn't dive into it because you get... And I guess once we get to the technology level where we would be able to kill it, that's also the era of, let's protect our species even though they're trying to kill us type thing. And at that point, plus, they think, oh, there's probably some valuable stuff to learn about the volcano and this disease. And, we got a pretty good handle on the disease. We've got good warning systems and we can combat it and stuff. So, you know what? Maybe we'll let the volcano live and we'll study it and observe it. But going back to worshipping it, is there a sacrifice that these people could be giving the volcano that actually genuinely slows it down so it makes it seem like sacrificing to it's important because it actually is?
Maybe there would be something that actually helps to kill the disease that they could feed the volcano.
Yeah.
Maybe this would be like a natural remedy that they would use if somebody has this disease as well.
Yeah, that would help increase their... But something kind of hard to get, so it's like a worthy sacrifice. I don't know what that would be.
Okay, so it's something that would be located underneath the ocean. That's like a pretty difficult place to get to.
Yeah, but it also has to be possible.
Ocean covers lava.
It still also has to be possible for like early age humans.
Okay, so early age humans have magic kelp.
Okay.
You eat the magic kelp and it produces oxygen within your body.
Okay, well, okay, you know what? Bad ideas lead to good ideas. We'll get there. Let's think about, so what type of sacrifices do we want these people to be doing? Because I know a very common trope for volcanoes is human sacrifice. So would this have to be something they believe has to be consumed by a human to be effective?
I don't know. Because I'm trying to think more along the lines of what would count. What is like sort of the opposite, or sort of like a parallel to blood lava.
I mean, actually,
okay,
actually, Isaac, and you know what combats diseases is white blood cells. What encourages white blood cells? Anyone know? Any science peoples in there?
Vitamin C.
So citrusy stuff. What? Okay. White blood.
I'm not sure if throwing a bunch of oranges into the volcano should stop it. That seems like too lame of a solution.
Okay,
Just throwing oranges into the volcano.
Okay, what increases white blood cell naturally? It's vitamin C. Thank you. By the way, you don't want a high white blood cell count. That's a bad thing for people who... But it's a volcano, so I think it's fine here. But just like something you might want to make like a side note so you don't confuse readers and make them think they want higher white blood cells than they have.
What would... I still feel ocean. I mean, there are underwater volcanoes. Could that have something to do with it?
I don't know. I'm reading a lot about diseases.
Underwater volcanoes are still known to spew magma.
I mean, would those be our normal volcanoes? Because without those, we don't get islands, and that could be problematic.
Yeah, we could do that.
You know, because normal because we've established these creatures are not actually volcanoes. They have this one trait that's similar to volcanoes in that they erupt, but that's it. And they kind of look like them.
Okay, so we still got normal volcanoes, but they are underwater volcanoes.
Yeah, they all happen to be underwater just because... Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Okay,
also,
so
vitamin C
is... Go to the
is...
temple and you get a sponge.
Why?
And
no, they don't want to kill the
creature.
they don't want to kill the creature. Look, we need... Alright, let's see, So, apparently, like, fruits and stuff is what you want. We need something that seems very vitamin C. There's a magic plant in the ocean. It's not actually magic, okay, but we're going... I'm just saying. So there's this plant in the ocean that has the ability that just naturally increases white blood cells. For all we know, a plant like this does exist in the ocean, and we just haven't discovered it yet. So, you know, it's not completely outrageous here. You don't even need to describe that this is what it's doing in your story, because depending on what time era, the people you're writing about don't know. But you can keep that in the back of your head for that annoying kid who comes to your book and says, "How does the plant work?" And you have an answer. So this plant dramatically increases it, which means that if a person was probably to eat this, it'd probably kill them, unless they have need of more white blood cells. Because high blood, it's not a good thing. So, collecting a bunch of this plant and throwing it in the volcano would slow it down, theoretically, because it would help the volcano combat its disease. But of course, no people are going to be able to get enough of that to kill the disease completely. Or even to slow down, like to forever stop it. They can just slow it down.
Yeah. But if you were to set up like some sort of like a way of farming this, then you could just constantly keep feeding the volcano. So I think what this has to be is this can only grow in deep, deep water. It has to have a lot of water sitting above it for it to actually be able to grow. And so you can find this in abundance. It's really hard to get to that spot where it's in abundance. And so you can't bring it back with you and start farming it in shallow water. Always making things inconvenient. That's how world building works.
So how do the early peoples get the magic plant that we have not described at all?
I imagine it looks like crystalline kelp.
Oh yeah, I was definitely thinking white. Just to, visual representation.
Yeah, so maybe sort of like a mix between like a white and light green.
Okay, and then
And maybe it's crystal like.
ooh, I like that.
Uh,
Also, I think
Not
it's
crystal, but it's crystal like.
I'm thinking a bit Swiss cheese action with some holes throughout it.
Yes.
Okay.
Now what's the root system like? Is it a deep root system or
I don't think it's that
shallow
deep.
root
I think
system?
it's a shallow. I think it's pretty easy to pull out. It's just getting to it that's the challenge.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there's our plan.
Cool. How do they get that? It.
Uh, the early civilizations have
Maybe it just
magic
floats to the top.
breathing
No,
power.
we're not going there. We're doing so well. This is a scientific world, Isaac. We've established this. We've been trying really hard. We're sticking with it. Okay. So
Okay.
I am thinking something very simple in that because we've established it has a shallow root system, occasionally pieces of it float to the top and they can gather it that way. It's just a very tedious task
Okay.
of gathering it. And maybe after storms is a big deal because then they get more of it because the water's been tossing stuff up.
Once the tidal wave hits, it's gonna bring a lot with it.
Yes. So they gather it that way. And of course this plant has absolutely no use for them, so they are purely doing this for their deity volcano creature, which needs a better name.
Yeah.
But again, do we really want to try again? We're batting 0, so I'm not sure if we want to attempt to name these guys.
So maybe what your story it could be about is the volcano is about to erupt, and your characters need to get more of this plant, but the supply is running low, and people can't find any in the ocean. The ocean has been way too calm, so their journey is to find a way to get to the bottom of the ocean and harvest it manually.
Or if you just want to create another of the Plague, which is a great book, by the way, is you should just, you could do it after eruption or during an eruption story.
Yeah, you could also, if you wanted to, you could make an entire world like this where basically everything is alive and is a living organism, similar to the volcano. Like you could have, like, plants are already alive, but you can maybe make them a little bit more, I guess, human-like.
With like blood vessels and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
And I know
you can make like everything alive.
yeah, I know if I had this world, like what I think the story I want to write for this world, believe it or not, is I would want to do it almost like a historical piece, right? And each chapter is a different year that one of the volcanoes that I would focus on erupted and how people combated it over the years. And that's the type of story I'd want to write. Isaac, what type of story would you write in this world if you had to write a story based off of this?
I'd probably still go with the one that I said earlier, where they're trying to get to the magic.
It's not magic.
The
it's not
scientific crystalline fictional kelp at the bottom of the ocean.
Thank you.
To throw into the blood-spewing volcano.
This is a scientific world!
Very. So, that's the reason I would probably go with that story is because I can see a lot of tension coming from it in the sort of goals that would have to achieve.
Yeah.
And it would escalate more and more because let's say there's maybe a couple initial bursts, but the volcano still managed to keep stuff down, so it's like maybe there is like that sort of alerts people, oh, this is looking bad, and then
I mean, also the heartbeat rising, which I don't think we've established this, but rise of heartbeat might even cause mini earthquakes, so that could be a thing you have to deal with.
Yeah, so it's like maybe it starts off with things like mini earthquakes that could escalate over time. Blood starts raining, not disease blood, but still blood you want to avoid. And then you go into the ocean, and now you're trying to survive going underneath the water. Maybe you're in some sort of a capsule, and the water pressure is quickly being applied to the capsule, and it's crushing it. So you only have so long before that happens. A character could start drowning, get stuck there. Sea monsters could come out. A lot of stuff could happen in the ocean. And then when you go to the volcano, they have to now scale the volcano while it's in mid-eruption and try and find a way to get the the stuff into the volcano. Maybe one smart solution would be they've now invented this metal capsule. Well, let's put this stuff in. Let's put the not magic kelp into the
very
capsule
scientific
and
kelp.
throw it in. Yes, the very scientific kelp into the pill. It's a capsule, so they put it in there and toss it into the volcano to calm it.
And the thing is, chances are that's not actually gonna work. So you can have like the story where, despite all that, it still fails, and then you still have to deal with the pandemic thing that occurs, and then the aftermath.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can go with it, but like that's the story I would write.
Okay. 2 different ideas of stories, but
I wouldn't write it at all, but that's still the one that I would write if I had to.
Yeah, and there we go, guys. That is the living volcano, I think, is what we had. Mind you, we did more the disease caused by the living volcano, but, we got a few fun details about the volcano in. In fact, this leaves for a good opportunity where I'm going to start giving people, like, mini writing prompts within this world. And for this episode, I think what you guys should do is to work on actually, like, describing the volcano more. Like, describe what this volcano looks like in the paragraph, because me and Isaac failed miserably in it. Every time we started, we got distracted. So maybe you guys can do it better. And if you want, you can, like, tweet it to me and I'll respond to it. Or you can, if you're on YouTube, you could do it in the comments. Or you could do a dramatic reading of it and send it to us over on our actual podcast website. And we will totally listen to it and enjoy it. I'm just saying. So, lots of options of ways you could share it with us. But that's your writing prompt. Have at it. Describe this volcano very visually in, like, a paragraph or 2. But,
and also while you're at it, come up with a name.
Yes, name the volcano.
And the volcano, but the boiling blood.
Yeah, the disease in the volcano. And if you, bonus points if you also name the kelp.
Ooh, yeah, just give us a bunch of names, and then we wouldn't mind if we're back, listen to our other episodes and just named, everything
I think
else.
every episode. I think we've only ever come up with, like, one good name for something. I don't even remember what it was. No, the Puffs could use a better name too. They do. Anyways, we're distracted. Long outro as usual with us. But we are going to be saying goodbye. And we will see you next week with yet another world. Wait, actually, it's next week. Right? Next week's another
Worldbuilding basic.
Yes, next week sorry, I had to look at my calendar. We will join you back next week with some world building basics. Which, yes, it's gonna be Christmas themed. Good luck with that, Isaac. But
oh no!
Alright, bye everyone.
Throwing up lots of blood, spewing everywhere, burning skin.